have a roundtable coming up with international EdTech perspective, which is quite interesting. Let me first start with the speaker's presentation. First of all, Alicia Berlanga, Director of EdTech Spain. Actually, all of the speakers are coming from an international background. Also, Alicia has participated and managed several European Commission programs, Leonardo, Socrates, e-learning, Tempus and Erasmus+. Moreover, she was project coordinator at UNESCO, chair of higher education management for 12 years, managing Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and all that area. So she has quite a huge perspective on international EdTech trends. Nevertheless, she is now the director of the EdTech Cluster, an association for the promotion of educational technology with more than 120 is written here, but I know that 165 members, universities, foundations, research institutions, and EdTech in Spain. So she's also leading chair of the Catalan Association of Clusters, Alicia. The second participant of the roundtable is Rafał Starowicz, Vice President of EdTech Poland Foundation on policy and innovation in Poland. Rafał is policy advisor in education for over 15 years now. He's mainly focusing on curriculum development, internet safety, and EdTech integration. And just as Alicia, also Rafał has participated in several working groups on behalf of the European Commission, mainly on digital education, and has collaborated with organizations like OECD and UNDP. You can take a seat if you want. And currently he's leading an EdTech Poland Foundation. The third one is Sandra Vieira Vasconcelos, Associate Professor at the School of Hospitality and Tourism, Polytechnic of Porto, and this is quite an interesting angle to bringing it to the table of EdTech, as it is tourism education technology. She has a PhD in multimedia and education, and she's also her school's representative at the Polytechnic of Porto Center for Pedagogical Innovation and advisor for distance education, having an active role in the development and implementation of teacher training workshops that promote innovative methodologies and pedagogies. And Félix López, Director at SecLab EdTech Accelerator, startup acceleration in the EdTech domain, specialized in mentoring and evaluation of tech startups in the education and health sectors mainly. SecLab, of which he is director and co-founder, is the first EdTech accelerator in Spain, founded in 2015. They have accelerated 110 startups, out of which 20 are international, and have more than 50 mentors, a network of 300 investors, and they have a survival rate of 80%, which is quite high in this sector. And last but not least, the moderator, my colleague, Balázs Koren, who is an EdTech expert. Actually, he's always describes himself as a mathematics teacher and good father. He first started to explore the use of smartphones in education, and then turned his attention towards drones and robotics. And then now he's not only mentoring students in robotics through the World Robotic Olympiad, but he's also an EdTech expert within the EduTech Hungary. And nevertheless, he's also teaching and promoting the test-bedded school Jettel Prosuli, which is founded and sponsored by a telecom company, Jettel. And last but not least, his latest hat, but I don't even know how many hats he has, is that he's also the scientific coordinator of the Hungarian EdTech Coalition. So I think these are yours. You can also participate in the roundtable via Slido, and that's the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a pleasure being among these great individuals. I just want to start with a short story. It's not a story, it's true. I spent 3 weeks just recently in the US, and it was an education technology program. It was funded by the State Department, And there were 14 people chosen from around the world. There was one Polish representative. From Europe, there were Poland, Czech Republic, and Estonia and Hungary. Sadly, no one from Spain or Italy, so I don't know who chose these people. So, but what was interesting is to see how the EdTech landscape is in the United States over the big pond, and yeah, it was great to see that they are struggling with the same problems as we do. So basically wouldn't need 3 weeks to discover this, but it's good to see that we have the same kind of situation, same kind of problems all around the world. And to show this, I'd like to ask you, we had lots of talking about banning smartphones, using smartphones in class. How is the situation in your countries? Let's start.
I start? Okay. Well, I come from Spain as Félix, so we are both of us will do 2 different levels of explanation, right? Of the situation in our countries. I mean, in Spain, the EdTech sector had really an amazing impact. To start with, 20 years ago, a lot of companies and startups started, to cover the market. But nowadays we are all facing this shift right to the new era we are in. On artificial intelligence, on the fears, and the lack of trust on some EdTech tools, and I would say that we are in a macro level stage. We are at the same level as in the US or any other countries, where we are thinking on how to do it better, with more trust, more evidence, and settling some policies, I would say.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank organizers for extremely warm hospitality. Here it's my first time after 30 years in Budapest, so I really enjoy being here. So going back to EdTech. In Poland, this situation, I used to work at the ministry and the public administration for some time, and I was responsible for innovations. And when we were taking part in a big BECT show in London on other occasions, there were Polish companies there, present there. No one knows that they are Polish brands. And when I talk with my colleagues from other ministries, I was just writing down the number of the stand and booth, asking them to visit it, And then the idea came that we should have something to support the startups. The problem is that not all startups initially think about disseminate their product abroad. So, but the whole idea was to support them. And then, of course, with the government, we are consulting the ideas, also the ban of the smartphones, because currently the situation in Poland is that each school decides and needs to put in their statute the rules of using devices like mobile phones in schools. But then there are some now discussion how to prevent kids to use it, but not for pedagogy purposes, but for some entertain or something. Which basically we are taking part in this discussion and with the Council to the Minister of Education, the Council of Informatization of Education, we are discussing it and we gave some recommendation. I don't know what happens because it's all about politics, of course, but the proofs and the evidence showed the facts, only the facts. So we based on that. So basically, of course, the EdTech market in Poland, we have 23,000 schools. Mostly the owners are municipalities. And it's growing, of course, the market is growing every year, and there is more and more partners in our organization, which we are also very grateful. But very important is that we have an opportunity to meet with other EdTech organizations, and we are part of European EdTech Alliance as well. So I think that through this cooperation we can much more efficient address the needs of European citizens. Thanks.
Okay, hi, and thank you also for the invitation. You were all very kind and very welcoming. Well, let's start with your question first regarding the phones. It's very similar, the situation. There's an ongoing discussion on what to do. A couple of years back, there was a big push for using technology and using these devices. There are plenty of studies that deal with, well, bring your own devices. And there's also this divide between higher education and higher levels, even secondary education, and other school levels. And the biggest discussion at the moment is going on at, well, elementary school level. Should phones be allowed or not? There's no official policy on this, but yes, again, most schools will decide independently whether or not to allow phones. One of the problems is that it seems to be an all or nothing kind of approach. It's either completely forbidden or there's no rules and you can do whatever you want. And that's becoming an issue because it's very hard to create policy in that it is okay to use your phone. There are certain pedagogical, you're talking about this activities where it should actually or can be encouraged, because a phone today is much more than just a phone. It's a very powerful machine you have in your hands. So when can you use it? What's the purpose? Why? And this is the discussion that we need to start focusing on. Also, again, we need to incorporate these new results of studies that suggest limited screen time for younger children. So that's a discussion that's still ongoing. Most of our education schools, teacher training programs are already addressing this issue. In most universities, I don't think we'll need strong policies on this. What we do need to come up is with different methodologies to engage our students, because whatever is going on their phones is sometimes more appealing than what we are doing, and we need to fix that. And I don't think we can't put it all on the phone. We can't just blame the phones for that. It's a much deeper discussion. As for EdTech, I mean, we were just discussing that. Apparently there aren't that many companies in Portugal, but I think we're very healthy in that way. We're pushing, there's many different projects. The area I work in, it has to do with tourism, where actually there's many projects and ideas on how to develop this area of not just tourism, but tourism education using technology with VR. There are many things you can create. The problem with some of the projects is that when there's funding, things happen, but then it's hard to keep things moving after that initial push is gone. So that's part of the struggle. We have to make it more structural and not so much focused on independent initiatives and projects.
And just to close about Spain, so it's a country crowd of EdTech companies, so there are more than 400 EdTech companies. Most of them, they are small companies, up to 10, 20 employees, so most of them, they are going to suffer this impact. But most of them, 70% of the founders, they worked previously in education, so they know what they are doing. So they are not pure tech entrepreneurs. So they have evidences that we show our colleagues before. They are based in evidences. So we are going to make some lobby, obviously. We can be stopped with these new rules or new regulations, because they are going to impact in the economy of small companies. Also, the Spanish market is really fragmented. So there are 30,000 schools in Spain. 40% of them that are private. They have more freedom in that case, probably, but it's a real problem. Also, it's fragmented. Decisions are also local decisions or regional decisions. So it's not the same in Madrid or the Basque Country or Andalusia. So it's a crazy country in this area.
Thank you very much. Because we are limited in time, I'd like to ask you, ask that you answer with just one word for the next question. Okay, one word. What is the biggest, because we have the name EdTech Trends, what is the best trend currently in education technology? Biggest or best or most interesting trend? Just one word, pick one thing.
Interoperability.
AI implementation.
I'm going to repeat myself. It's not even a word. It's 2 letters. AI. We can't escape at the moment. Is it the best? We don't know. Is it definitely the most significant at the moment? Probably.
And also from data, it's based on AI, but wellness and health.
AI told you it's AI.
No.
Okay, and because AI is currently the hot topic, we know, and we'll see how it evolves and what is going to happen. But in education technology, we had lots of big trends like VR glasses, 3D printers. There was always something which was picked up. So when you go, for example, for the BET show, there were always years you could assign. This is the year of AI, year of 3D printing, and so on. So what do you think? What was from these trends? What stayed with us, and which are the ones which are just were there, but nothing came alive or stayed with us?
I didn't say artificial intelligence because they were going to say it. So that's why I said another thing. But I would like to talk about interoperability, because interoperability of the platforms is completely related to security. And we are lacking a lot of security in our systems. When we take that into education, is the level of security is higher. So imagine when you insert not only artificial intelligence as such, but the use of artificial intelligence for data management. That's going to be something to take over and to really analyze and to take care of it, because the interoperability of all the platforms are not still really connected. So we have a difficult trend there, but something really important to generate trust between the data that artificial intelligence or education creates and the one that will go to the ministries of education or the regional institutes of education, to have the real results or the impact results in a better way that we have right now.
So, in my opinion, and I think that the majority of people here, the artificial intelligence is still artificial, yet. So it will not replace the teacher. It's something that is very useful, is as much useful as it can be at that moment. But before we had this other materials or immaterials, some software, hardware tools and devices, and they are still there, they are still in schools. They are probably not used as very effective, in a very effective way, but still they are there, and artificial intelligence will just help us. I think that very important is to see that the process of individualization and also the new hybrid model of teaching and learning is now much more popular. From the school perspective, of course, all the data analysis for comparison, for different paths for students, it's something that will change this very popular still, the Prussian model of learning and teaching. But at the same time, we must be very careful when we are talking about digitalization, because at the end of the day, this deep learning and this based skills are very important too. So we will not completely change the method of absorbing the knowledge and how we perform on tests, for instance, or because we need to also sometimes to sit and write, I don't know, 100 times something to remember, instead of using only the app, yes? But I hope that we have now the chance to start from really early stage. We don't need to wait when child will go to school to start learning, as we got example from today, yes, with the language, foreign language, second language. But so this is a big change. But in terms of other tools, if it will be more fast 3D printer or robots or computer with, I don't know, Intel, inside 8, 9 or 10, it makes no big difference.
So thinking about things that stayed with us, right, a little bit. I was going to say chatbots in a bit, because now with AI, it has this whole new layer of interaction. But and in tourism, it's a very important thing. It's something that we use every day. But I'm going to go with something completely different that has mostly to do with media and how you consume in media. I was thinking about streaming, but one of the products, if you like, that's, I think, disappeared for a while and now made a huge comeback are things like podcasts. 15 years ago, everyone would have their own blog and their own podcast. People were experimenting with these Web 2.0 kind of tools, becoming prosumers. You produce content and you would consume content. And right now, it kind of declined a little bit, but now it made a huge comeback because people then suddenly, it's much, much easier in terms of production, also in terms of streaming and broadcasting, these podcasts, videocasts, webcasts. And people now have this need to share their ideas, and you need to see them and interact with them. So I think in terms of how you consume media, these trends have completely changed the way we interact with media. No, I don't think it's regular media, traditional media are facing many, many challenges, because now we all get to sit at home or on our phones, and each and every one of us can be seeing, watching, listening to something different. And in cultural, educational, societal terms, this, I think, is a big trend. This personalization, this individual kind of stance, but also how easy it is, how many platforms we have that make it easier for us, not just to create content, but to broadcast it. Sometimes very small, short kind of pieces of content. It's becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. And that, I think, it's more than a trend, I think.
Yeah, looking at the last 3 years, startups applying to my accelerator, for example, gamification maintains still, going a little bit down, less focus on robotics or coding, less year on year. Still maintains VR and AR, but also more focus on simulators for companies, for corporate education. In that case, they are growing. And also they are growing in schools, mental health, wellness, obviously, tutoring also for students, or career advice. So just discovering the jobs of the future. So this is a trend, obviously, that is growing. And also most of the companies that apply to the accelerators, they are most focused on, they are social impact, pure social impact companies. And also early detection of problems in learning, like dyslexia or dyscalculia. So this is a good trend, for example. And also more spin-offs companies that born in a university and jump to the market. So it's also the good news and the new trends that we are observing with the startups that are applying to an accelerator program.
When we are talking about EdTech companies, what I experienced when I was in the US, that they really encourage startups, not just EdTech, but at a university or even in high school level, they help the students to develop their entrepreneur skills, and basically startups just establish during university years. So most of them, even if someone finishes university, has already 2 failed startups, 1 successful one. So it's, I know I'm accelerating it, but still, what is your opinion, or what is your experience in your countries, in your areas, focusing strictly on EdTech startups? what kind of help do they get? How can they be successful from government level or school level? What is the situation in your countries? We can go another way around. Or
I think in the case of Spain, Félix should answer this.
Félix, is your responsibility.
Well, the startups, they are alone, so there is not real poor public support. So
But you help them. But you help them. Well,
I help them because I'm a private accelerator. I'm part of an educational group, so they need better testing. So on average, schools and universities, they are not open to open innovation. So they are always busy, no time to better testing. So it's not like in the Nordics, they have test beds. In Spain, it's quite difficult to make a real better testing in a school or university. This is crazy for them. In terms of money, there is a lot of public funding. In that case, there's 300 million euros for startups. It's perfect. A good network of investors from Spain and rest of the Europe and US. They're investing in EdTech companies also. These are the good news. We are in the top 5 countries in Europe raising money from private investors. So these are the good news. But there is not, as I mentioned, real public support for the EdTech industry in general.
So we can say that maybe in Europe we don't have still like Silicon Valley, and of course the condition for doing businesses depends on many factors. But in general, when someone is working on solution that really help to solve some problem, some social or some mental problem, or any to deal to tackle with any kind of barrier, then it may have more chance to be successful than if it addresses nothing, or despite the fact that sometimes it can be some good promotion or something, and people are convinced that they should use it. But in fact, what is good when it matches some, like now in Poland, we have several co-funded by EU projects, or like we started in 2016, implementation of coding from the first grade. So immediately those companies who had some products, they won, because it was very big demand for this kind of process. So it's good when it is in line with the plans, with the programs, like governmental programs or regional programs, so they can really, for instance, for schools, if they need to pay by using their pocket money, it's quite challenging. But when they see that there is an opportunity, that they get funds and they just need to decide for what purpose to spend, then it's completely different. And then you can, even if you have very small startup, then it might be very successful in very short time. So it depends, but of course the environment, the atmosphere, the climate, and the level of like even capitalism in each country, it makes difference. That's for sure.
Even though it's not really my area, I mean, in our case, I think universities and higher education institutions are doing most of this kind of work, pushing these projects, developing these initiatives and centers to push EdTech. There are few private enterprises, but mostly related to kind of more traditional media, like textbooks, that are now venturing into the side of EdTech. But I would say mostly, I mean, schools play a very important role, and of course, most of our schools would be public schools, so they need this support from the EU, from the government. But I would think in terms of innovation, universities, these accelerators, they will be the ones doing most of this kind of investment in terms, well, human investment and HR investment and knowledge investment. We had a big push a couple of years ago regarding hardware, equipping schools. Then with COVID, again, that was a big issue, because you can only use technology if you have the hardware, right? But now I think people are shifting towards more software-based solutions and other type of solutions.
I just would like to add that, for instance, in the case of Spain, not only startups, but all those projects that are created within the main companies even, I mean, whatever new project has not a real path on test bedding, on piloting it. And that's something that we need to solve, because startups and whoever who has the creativity to solve a challenge, an educational challenge, a social challenge, one challenge, and creates a product. I mean, there's no research without prototyping, right, and testing. So we are still a little behind this part, and we need to look to all the European countries to see what are they doing and how can we all cooperate in helping these startups or these projects to pilot in schools and to make the schools trust the EdTech sector to pilot again, to pilot as well.
That's a very important point, to trust and to make schools trust. Without telling all the other EdTech companies in your country, what is your favorite EdTech product from your country, which you think is great, which you think has benefit to, for example, benefit these people who are sitting here around the table? I didn't prepare them for this.
I have a good example. So one guy just showed Genially. It was a small company in the south of Spain, not Madrid or Barcelona. They have more than 100 employees, presence in 200 countries. It's for create interactive content. I don't use PowerPoint, never and ever, for the last 10 years. I create all my content for my students from higher education to university or corporate with Genially. I make magic with my content.
That's a good pick.
Oh, I'm not ready yet. Still thinking, because all that comes up to me, it's something that's not really EdTech, but it has an impact on education.
That's
in this case,
good as well.
For
That's
my
accepted.
students, within the tourism area now, there's a big problem in Portugal. Well, it's not a challenge, let's call it a challenge, because, well, tourism became very, very important. So suddenly there's this staff shortage, skills shortage that we need to address. And so there is a platform that was created, like a hub, it's called Host, for recruiting and identifying skills, so required skills in tourism and hospitality students. And this creates the match between the candidate, the applicant, and the recruiter, and it fosters this connection. So it has a very applicable side to it. And for us as professors in this area, it also helps us convince our students, see, what we teach is important, it's here. And we cooperate with them. So it's an example of an academia-industry collaboration that I think is also the role. Going back to what you said, we need each other to make it work, right?
For me, the answer is very easy, because I brought one of these companies here. So, but in general, for me, it's very. I very like the very comprehensive approach. You know, when it's like combined. Like years ago, when we started this pilot program in coding, there was some blocks, physical blocks that children can put, and then to take picture on by using device, and then the character on the screen were follow the instruction from. So it was not just like, you know, one app to learn, I don't know, new words or something, but it was something that really engaged teacher and students, and they can play together as well, which is also very important, because individualization is important, but at the same, I mean, it's useful, but we don't need like, you know, totally like divided class to each student. We want to socialize those students as well with this process of learning. So I think that this kind of solution, that of course they are brilliant, that gives opportunity to unprivileged, for instance, children. Yes, they can connect with other from I don't know, some maybe with the difficult background, or some not capable to go to schools, etc. So this what really solves some problems and gives something that is a solution for to address their needs. I think this are the most good one.
Okay, Alicia, you're going to get an extra question, so no worries. No, I'm going to give a last question because our time is ticking. So 1 minute for everyone to answer. When your own children or students come to you, you're working in EdTech, this is so great, I want to be involved in EdTech. What advice would you give?
Okay. I have been a principal of a school for 7 years, so I got some of those. I got some of those till 2 years ago. Now I'm representing the ecosystem. But the advice would be, for me, for those who came and wanted to join this sector, was to be really enthusiastic in answering a challenge to something that they want to solve, because education is based on challenges every day. So to be very, enthusiastic and try to always focus on a real challenge to solve, not what they want to solve, but a real one that's there and needs an answer.
So in my case, it was even funny, because when I was a member, I started off being member of Pan-European Game Information System. So I got the consoles, to test some games, etc. So my kids, they were, they said, wow, what's a good job. And they were promoting it among their peers that, oh, my father, his job is to play games, that's perfect. But my recommendation for all, like young people and students, I think, is to learn hard. Because without that, not only maybe the science topic or something, but to have some general knowledge about the world, and also to socialize with the others. Because the best ideas, they are really effective when they are launched like together with the others. So it's a teamwork, not individual. You need to have someone that can design it. You have some language skills, etc., etc. So it's always a matter of group of people that working on it. Thanks.
Oh, I like that one. I should have picked that one. No, I mean, I would say less is sometimes more. With technology, there is sometimes this tendency to overthink, to overcomplicate things, and it's so easy to add all these bells and whistles and extras. Focus on the core idea, on your core objective. What do you want to achieve with this? The idea of using technology for the sake of using technology, I don't think it cuts it. So we need to focus on the purpose, the goal, the learning experience, the actual experience. And sometimes less is indeed more. If the idea is good, if the project is good, it will be worth a lot on its own. It will be able to stand alone. You won't need all these extra add-ons that will bring nothing significant. I would say that.
And then for startups running an EdTech, obviously I can recommend going to EdTech accelerators. There are a few ones: Mexico, Finland, the US, Israel, and Germany, Spain. So it's a good point because they will find money, mentorship, probably better testing, really support, master classes. So it's the best choice, I think.
Thank you very much. We have 1 more minute, so we were very good with time. Yeah, I'm going to thank you all for this fruitful conversation, and hope that you got something as a takeaway. If your kids are going to start their EdTech company or EdTech journey, then they got some advices, and we heard about AI is the big trend. We didn't just talk about AI. I got the chance to talk about AI all morning, so we did guide into another direction. But thank you very much again, and hope we continue our conversation. Anyone who wants to join, feel free to find these people around here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, leaving tomorrow.